We're 15 minutes early, but we might as well go ahead and get started. If you're watching the VOD, thanks for watching. Again, hopefully this went up in a timely manner. I'm going to try to stay on top of that for you guys. Yeah. All right. Cool. If you haven't subscribed, it's always cool when you do. And then you won't miss the notification or whatever. When these goes live. Let's get into it. Today we may have a guest in the form of Zukan. We may have, maybe Zukan will be here today. And if he is, then we'll work on maybe customizing some giants for one of the other camps. That'd be cool. You mentioned showing me what I'm missing on that, so. In the meantime, let me hop in. What's up, Simon, my friend? How's everything sound? Can you hear me okay? Music alright? I've allowed my coffee to get lukewarm. But it's still tasty. It's still worthwhile. Hey, Death Rider. Dan Leon. Code and Caffeine. Got so much stuff going on. I had to triple check my desktop and stuff to make sure I'm not spilling any beans, ruining any secrets. We will have some cool information for you in the update, and the update will go out this weekend no matter what. What's up, Tupac? Hey, Quicksana. Rugaroo. Oh, hey, Rugaroo. Flirting will get you everywhere with me. Thank you. Well, that cape's looking velvety. Hey, Quick 44, Chaz Solo. My gnome's got his party outfit on. Tsunami-san, hello. Viru. What's up, Viro? Normally fans, Century. Another day, another dollar. Yeah. What do you do? What do you do that you have the ability to watch me during your work day? Hey, Chinny D. Sinris, Malus, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, it's been a little while. But you know what, man? Time flies so fast that I swear it hasn't felt like it. I didn't even notice you were missing, and not in a bad way. It's just time flies. Oh, yeah. I remember now, Pyro. I remember that. What's up, Ang7? Been heads down with your side project, Mela said. I read that as side piece initially. It's like, oh no. Don't say it. Love the transparency over the years with all the progress too. Thank you, Century. Sometimes we're a little too transparent, I think. Actually, we're transparent with all the stuff that we should be transparent with, and then I just make inappropriate comments. What's up, Bill? Talet. Yep, speaking of transparency, we're going to get the update out this weekend with some new infos. It'll have an update on like last year's costs and things like that as well. Since we're spending a lot of time looking ahead to early access and potential scenarios there, and what is the... I need to put that on the list, man. Like, what's the deal with the go-to stopping? I'm gonna start my own list, Nick. Yeah, so we've been putting some stuff together, chatting with Ollie and Nick this morning a fair bit about just getting some stuff in place, timeline for another play test in our future, and just a lot of stuff going on this year, man. But it's exciting. Zukan, are you coming in to hang out? Are you gonna show me how to update some giants? If you don't have 42 Notepad pluses open, what are you even doing? Yeah, I mean, I love that it just always opens them back up for you. I'm looking at it over here, but let me make that note before I forget. In my best Seinfeld voice, what's the deal with go-tos always stopping? Go-tos always stopping. Excuse me, I had so much cauliflower today that I'm probably going to be a burpy mess. Hey, Skeletal. So one more time, because I keep screwing it up. Are you in Peru or Chile? Peru, right? Or is it Chile? Zukan, I think we'll probably just hop into Discord, maybe. Gegian85 said, "Hey Sean, longtime VOD watcher, first time catching you live. Appreciate all the work you and the team have been putting into M&M. Hey, thanks for making it in live. I know it's not very convenient for a lot of folks in the US, so if you're over there, I appreciate you making it in. And thanks for watching the VODs. It's super cool that people watch the VODs. It's always a little bit surreal. We've got like a whole little VOD community going. Love the comments. I think I've mentioned it before, but in case you hadn't seen it, I'll take all of the comments because they're just in the little dashboard if I haven't responded yet or no one's responded yet. I just screen cap, you know, screen cap after screen cap. Usually it's like 2 to 4 screen caps worth of comments every Monday, and I post those for the team. So it's cool stuff. East Coast Roller, can't tap on your phone? No worries, dude. Hey, Dreamed. How's Sweden doing? Is it still dark and cold? Zukan, let me turn down the music, I guess. And then I'll hop into Discord and then go to where you're at, because you're already in there ahead of me. And there's Zukan. And then we'll see if we can get Zukan's audio's level. Are you going to get clouds to go along with this rain? We may do more with clouds in the future. Right now, it's just a nice sun shower. Dream said it is dark and cold pretty much, lol. Yeah, but Sweden's still beautiful, even when it's dark and cold. Zukan? Are you... There you are. I don't think I can turn the music down any farther. No. Alright, so it's just gonna be me and Zukan. No. No background sound. Double rainbow time. Did I tell you? Did you hear the story? Because I know I've told it before. I actually hung out with the double rainbow guy one evening when we were traveling. Buddy and I, or two buddies and I, were doing a road trip up through the desert and then through Yosemite and then back down the coast. And we hung out with Bear, the double rainbow guy, because he knew a girl that we knew from when we had the skate park in Alabama. She was one of the like young skate park kids, and then she lives out there. And she's like super hippie and stuff, and so she knew and was hanging out with him, and so we met them at a jazz festival in a park at Mariposa. Mariposa is like this little town just outside of Yosemite, where we became best friends with a couple that own a bar there. And so two separate road trips, we wound up going there. And then, what does that mean? Oh my God, dude, he was the nicest guy. I got a nice picture with him. He's huge. So I'm in this picture with him and I'm 6'2", and he just dwarfs me. Yeah, he died, unfortunately. I think it was his heart. Like, he is a big guy and he was not super healthy. He used to be a MMA fighter. Like, I don't know to what level, right? Like, he wasn't UFC or whatever. But he's a legit guy. We talked about it and stuff. But he had like injured his knees and stuff like that. And so he just lived out in his trailer out there and checked out rainbows, I guess, and got famous on the internet. Super sweet dude. One of the nicest guys ever. So, yeah, we may have to sneak a rainbow and a double rainbow into the game, but that may be a little too pop culture. We try to avoid all pop culture. Paul Vasquez? I just knew him as like Bear.
Bear, the California, was he wrestling?
No, I think he did like MMA stuff before.
Oh,
And it's like
dude,
I don't know what it like that actually means.
There's a guy I knew who he was known as the Bear, the California Bear. He was into wrestling, and he represented the states, the U.S. in the Olympics or something as a wrestler.
Pretty legit then.
Yeah, but he would. Well, I knew him. He was like kind of like the head janitor at my high school when I met him. And he's just a really cool dude. It was kind of he had a class actually. He was the head janitor, but he ran like a class where all the other teachers kind of sent the bad kids, you know?
Oh, I know that class for sure. I've been to that class.
Dude, I wound up in that class because they put me in Spanish, and I was like, "Can I get in an art class?" And they're like, "No, but you can join this other class." I'm like, "It's better than Spanish." And it was actually because like what he had us do is kind of like walk around campus for a period and like kind of pick up trash for a little bit, and then we just kind of hung out. And then I kind of got to know like all the staff, and it was kind of like I don't know, I got sort of special privileges, I guess, because of all those sorts of things. But yeah, it was cool. It kind of changed my whole high school experience because of that. He's a cool dude.
Oh man, it's awesome. Yeah, I didn't have a cool dude like that at my school. Unfortunately. Skeletal, it's not that Zukan doesn't like Spanish. He just didn't want to learn it at the time. Isn't that right, Zukan?
Yeah. I mean, I just languages are not my thing. Although it would have been cool to learn, but you know,
I'm memeing
at the time. At the time, I was like, "Why did you put me in Spanish when I wanted an art class?" Like, I
Right.
was like, "What?"
Yeah, dude. I had 1 year in school where it was like all electives, and since I was playing football, one of the first elective in the morning, like anybody that was on the team, got weightlifting as the first elective, and so my day was pretty much just a sham the whole time. I think it was like I went from weightlifting to art to public speaking to some similarly like to maybe drama or something. I don't know. And then I had like two legitimate classes, like English and biology or something. And man, that year was just that was a blast.
Yeah, that was kind of my senior year. I I hung out in the art ceramic room all day, pretty much, or I didn't go to school.
Dude, I loved art. I loved art. Mrs. Lamb, if you're out there somewhere, one of my favorite people in the world. Art class was great. Um, yeah. Dude, I was a horrible kid. Like school just wasn't super difficult. I mean, I went to you know, I was my dad retired in Dothan, Alabama, and it was just like I don't know. I didn't go out of my way and take like AP classes or anything like that. I was a slacker, but so the classes I was in weren't like super challenging. So, throughout my high school year, I could the first the first couple of years I was like super introverted and hadn't figured out how to like not be picked on and not be like weird and stuff like that. So I'd finish my work and then I'd have like, you know, sometimes half a class to sit there and read a book. Right. So I'd be reading Dragonlance and, reading like Forgotten Realms books and all this other shit. And then, at break time or between classes, I'd be that kid in a stairwell reading. But then I figured out like how to have fun, and so my junior and senior year, well, I was I was such a bad kid. Like I remember in art class that one year, whenever we had substitutes, I would just terrorize them. And we had this one substitute who left the room for whatever reason, and I convinced the entire art class to hide in the art closet because it was big enough for us to have all of like the paintings and all that stuff. So it was easy to fit like 15, 20 kids in there. And so we locked the door, turned off the lights, and I hid everybody in the art class or in the art closet. And so the substitute couldn't get back in. And like you could hear him like knocking on the door and looking in the window and all that stuff because it was a big window and like jiggling the handle and all that. So then they, I guess, went to get somebody and got everybody back out and like turned the light back on and made it try to look normal. Um, and it was one of those things where without a doubt that you're going to be the one getting in trouble for like there's no exit out of that, right? Like there's no way that you don't get busted for that, but it was a fun prank. So it was just like little silly shit like that or yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
harmless prank.
Pretty harmless, but they add up and then you wind up in alternative school with
Mm.
people like the guy you were describing. Cool. So we we're going to work on some giants, right? Do I need to go out to the dressing room and do it there, or do we want to?
So you can do it there. You can do it one of two ways, or you can do it both ways, really. But you can go to the dressing room. You can select a giant, and then you can select. What I would probably do is I'd go to the dressing room. I'd pick the giant under the player equipment
Mhm.
thing, and then I would select the kind of create the outfit you want, and then manually input that into the database.
Okay.
Because um, I don't know that the NPC tab works reliably if that's what you were doing originally.
Yeah, it was, and I noticed that that wasn't providing certain options I thought we had before, and it wasn't working the way I thought it was working before. So I started basically doing what you're saying, where I could like modifying things and just taking the data and put it straight into DB. But I also thought that
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't modify some of the stuff, so I'm actually going to be curious to see what you show me. What did people say in
Okay.
chat? Um, uh, Sandy Pass. Yeah, I do speak German, but I mean, I lived in Germany as a kid, um, and then moving back, I've just kind of, it's a lot of just using apps and talking to people here. My German's far from fluent or perfect. What else? Tsunami-san hung out with kids, play Magic. I I don't know if Magic existed when I was in high school, and if it did, I wasn't aware of it, but I don't think it existed yet. I graduated in 1993. Dressing room for all of you that are younger than me. Okay, so then open the tool. And give it a minute. Got some 90s graduates. Nice. When were you in school,
The
Zukan?
only sorry, go ahead.
When were you in high school?
I finger quotes graduated in 07.
Cool.
Youngin. The only catch with the giant uh that is worth mentioning, I guess, is his forearms are modeled in such a way to necessitate like they're him always wearing bracers of some sort,
Okay.
because we actually modeled out like the shape of a bracer into the arm itself. So he looks very strange if you don't have a bracer.
Okay. Let me check
But
our Discord server and see, because it goes automatic. I want to see if I can make sure that I'm closer to you potentially. Huh. I can remember where to find it now. I didn't think it was in user settings.
I didn't know you
Oh,
could change the server location.
yeah. You see it in there? Because it's not a DM.
Uh, I don't know what I'm looking for.
That's fine. Neither am I. I'm I'm just poking around as well to see if I see anything obvious. In a DM, it's usually, I thought it was like dead obvious where the change server location is, but I don't see it here in our little thingy. No big deal. I'd heard you like break up a second once or twice, and that's often because it's like I'm way over here and you're on the opposite side of the US. Angs asked, the bracer mesh was built into the model, so not a set of hidden polys that are visible, not based on skin applied. Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah, the all the armor except for specific attachments are all texture based armor. So bracers are just a texture applied to the forearm. That is our style. So we don't have any hidden polys for the bracers. It's just a texture applied to directly to the body. So um and the giant, we wanted to have a silhouette change there, um because in the concept they all have bracers and that sort of thing. We weren't really sure how far we were going to go with applying like other armors and stuff to them. Sorry. Um, we just kind of modeled in the shape of a bracer into the forearm on them, and that's something we can always go back and change if we want to, I guess. But I think so far it's fine. We haven't, like I said, we're literally here trying to add more stuff to them, so I guess we'll see how it goes. Um,
Yeah.
but that's kind of where we landed on the giant. I think there are some things. I think this was maybe like the second thing that Zach modeled, and he was so there's an element of him still sort of getting used to stuff, maybe because there's a bit of a weird thing going on with the UVs on the arm on the shoulder area, but you know, stuff is we can always fix things.
Yeah, this guy's big.
So yeah, you're gonna have to turn on the widgets and move the light around probably as well to get a good look at them.
Yeah, that's what I was popping in here to. Cool. The and the other thing the Corbett was saying is I make a simple comment about giant clothing variety on Raffle Stream, and boom, days later looking into it. That's wild. Yeah, but as I probably responded then as well, right? Like we are very much in the vein of old EQ and things of that nature when it comes to how we're budgeting our resources, right? There are times when we've got I don't think this is it. There are times when we've got the ability to do a little bit of extra like pizzazz on different NPCs, but don't be shocked if you see a lot of NPC reuse and basically the only thing that's different is like um, different size, different name. But the guys have been really good about like building in the ability to alter colors, like lerp it. Put in these different color gradients that we can overlay to like change colors of equipment and skin tones and things of that nature. So just kind of as Zukan and the guys have a chance, we'll add more. But our goal from day one was like, how do we make a game that we can actually ship and ship as on time as possible? And then if we continue to get the support that, if we continue to get support, or not continue, but like if we get actual monetary support when we go live, but I guess the continued support of the community, and we have cash, and then we have a little bit more on the resource side, then we can maybe, one, finish the game. So the mission will still be like, how do we finish the game? But then also maybe come back in and add in some more variety where we feel like it's missing, or tweak some things where we feel like, oh man, it'd be cool if we could actually go back and change that. And stuff of that nature. So it's exciting times because that possibility may exist. Was going back through and looking at some of our early projections and stuff, and was just like, it's kind of interesting. You would, I mean, if Pantheon hadn't gone into early access before us, we wouldn't be able to kind of look at how they're doing and what those numbers are. And it's really cool that they've done well. Because when you look at it like our early projections, and it's not to say that those projections may not hold true, like they may be fairly low. But we're optimistic that maybe we can beat our original projections. Because when I'm going through like those spreadsheets and stuff, it was like real low, real low. I've said it here before. It's like, hey, if a couple thousand people are interested in subbing for the early access, then maybe we can get to a point where we can start to pay a couple of the guys a little bit and pick up a little more steam and keep grinding and all that stuff. So we'll kind of see how it goes. But man, our early estimates were hopefully.
That's the light you want, by the way. You're gonna need to crank up the intensity of it and everything, but that's the main light that
Hey,
you want to mess with.
Quatos. Intensity is like max. What's that about? 500,000.
Yeah, I just added 0 in there.
5
And
million.
then
Okay.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
There you go. And you can kind of see him now.
Oh man. And then move this out of the way here. Yeah, I mean, and our goal for the game is just to, if we do well, we want to come back and we just want to keep reinvesting in the game and not, not get silly. Imagine if EverQuest had all the money that EverQuest made, and it was spending the majority of that on just EverQuest instead of like a bunch of other SOE games that ultimately didn't really move the needle. But I mean, when you're in their defense, they didn't know that, and they had to try, right? They didn't know that EQ would still be kicking it 26 years later. I don't think any of us did really. But I'm a big fan of companies investing in their flagships. Hey, infantry is dope. People still are actually playing infantry, but infantry was like 4 dudes or 2 dudes. So that's the that is not the example. All right, I'm sorry, Zukan. I'm just babbling as usual. You know the deal.
It's all good. You probably want to add try and add another 0 or something to that. Or
You want them brighter? This light is
well, I mean, it's up to you, but it's still kind of dark. Oh, well, that kind of works, I guess.
What the what? We need some tooling.
Yeah, the dressing room has some quirks still with it.
Point light, but where is it pointing? And yeah, because like 5, I've never seen a value that high before. Turn the volumetrics off. Oh, but the range is also like, let's do.
I just added a 0 to the intensity and it seemed okay to me, and then I just made it larger. So it's weird that it's not as bright on yours, but maybe I added 2 zeros there. That's good. Yeah.
Okay. We will at some point refix the tool. Somebody asked earlier, is it M&M or M ampersand M? It is M&M when we're referring to it just by the abbreviation, and we use the ampersand when we're doing monsters and memories. The 2 words. It is an ampersand, right? Isn't that the name of the dragon, the squiggle?
Oh yeah, I was gonna make a joke about that actually. So you're talking about that tattoo on the 2 butt cheeks.
Uh-huh.
I was gonna do a mock-up for it and like have the 2 M's, and then I was like, as long as you don't ask where the ampersand is.
Dude, I don't know that because for it to be a meaningful butt tattoo, like the M's would have to be so big, and I do not want an ass tattoo that big. But not because I care. No one's gonna see my butt. I don't know. I mean, maybe they will, but when I'm rocking my Borat at the beach. But that's a lot of tattoo.
I think it's probably a pretty sensitive area too.
Oh, my ass. No, my ass couldn't be sensitive at this point in my life. But sensitive enough, I guess. Knuckle tattoo.
So
is that a joke? Are you making fun of my finger right now, Corvid? Knuckle tattoo? God. Dude, this isn't even Friday. Coffee kicked in. Sorry. All right, Zukin, it's business time.
can you pull up the panel again? Because you've got like a dude with, you're on the NPC one, so click on the player one. player equipment tab. Yeah. And scroll down and just like hit the refresh to the bottom. There should be a refresh button. Refresh or force update doll. Okay. So now you got just a blank slate giant, and you can select whatever you want pretty much. The only bits that won't work are the helmet and the shoulder, unless we set those up specifically, which we can do if there's something you're going for specifically. But they just don't have stuff plugged in for the most part. But most everything else should work, including backpacks.
No shit. Do you think we're gonna? I mean, do you think we're gonna use? I wasn't sure if we are gonna make different giants over time, based on the various concepts that we had. Do you think we're gonna reuse this base for some different giants? Because if we are, then it may be worthwhile to add in. Like shoulders are one of those things that shoulders and head will go a long way in terms of, like.
So actually, shoulders are pretty simple to add because those aren't race specific attachments. The way it works is you just add them to the actually, you know what? I take it back. Most shoulders should already work, because if you just like scroll through stuff, it should like load in things actually.
Okay.
But it's the helmet is the one that has to be custom made for their head. So I just don't spend the time fitting all the helmets to NPCs unless we are going to use it. You know what I mean?
Mm. But like right now, if I just hit randomize equipment,
yeah,
we should see something happen.
Yeah, it'll take a little bit to load, but yeah, it'll load stuff. But to answer your question, I think that was the plan to make other models for other giants. And I'm down to do that. It's just like with everything, it's
just
prioritizing that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought like, hey, and maybe it's first pass with some of them, right? Where we're like, oh man, actually we can eke out another, giant type for the specific need or whatever for now. Build them in this way, and then later on, if we've got more time, or we have the opportunity, we can come back and like hit them and make them a more unique model or something.
Yeah. So like we can like if we just did like skin lerps and like different hair attachment type things, we could make all the giants like if we wanted to do it with just this one. I don't know if we wanted to do that like it we could commit to that, or we could say no, we're just going to make custom giants for each one. And if that's the route we want to go, I kind of wonder if we even want to bother with like using this guy as a stub-in for the other ones, or
I think it's worthwhile. I mean, in the case where we've got certain ones, like the ones we were talking about, where we're like, oh, when they're in this state, it would be kind of badass. Or when we're doing ones that are more elemental or whatever, I could see the question becomes like, it's kind of a content thing. Like, I don't feel bad about the idea of, because we're not putting in like blue capsules anymore or whatever. So I don't mind the idea of us starting with a like a placeholder that conveys the intent, and then moving on. But I also think for some of these different like non-fan super fantastical giants, I think there's I think it's fine for them to be a bit more shared and have it be armor based, some lerps, maybe, like a quick different hairstyle or a quick different beard style or something, or just a little unique something that's put in there. And as we were saying, maybe also in some cases like a different head or whatever, and then over time getting more bodies available and more skin textures and stuff, and then expanding our arsenal. Does that make sense?
So would you? So if we did, if we got like we did like a different skin color and a different hair option for one of these guys, and said it's a frost giant now,
Right.
and then later on we made like a frost giant specific model, would you want to replace those, or would you have them live those, like just add those in and kind of have both versions? Like,
Uh,
well, I guess I'm just trying to understand the, is it like a stub in that we replace, or is it like a, we're having like a just a ton of variety now?
I think it would be case by case, right? Because there may be a situation where it would make sense, right? Because then it's also like how much of a delta is the, like, so say we have an ice giant, and we've got those initial ice giants in, and they're at a specific location, and then we know that there's going to be another ice location that's even crazier and more badass. Then I would think the opportunity exists to justify in lore why these guys look different from the other guys. And I think that works whether it's a subtle change, like they've got new armor and new faces or slightly different build or whatever, new hair, blah blah blah. I think it can still easily work that way. Or if it's these guys are made out of literal ice, right? That also works. I think if the base approach looks pretty good and feels pretty good, then we don't necessarily need to go out of our way to replace them. You know what I mean? Like, and if we're going to add something, then why not add like a more unique model for maybe one of the named, or like spend the resources there. So I think if the flexibility holds up with regards to, yeah, and this guy's right now he's got like kind of clown armor on, so let's actually start from scratch. But yeah, does that make sense? Um,
Yeah, that makes sense.
uh, and with some of the stuff, like where our open development um is such that as we're getting to the point where we actually have the capacity to go back and revise certain content, I think we have that conversation with the community, right? Like when we talk about going back and adding more to the game or replacing some things or revising certain content, it is absolutely never with the intent to go from like old Freeport to new Freeport. It's more of, hey, we actually have the time to. I think a better example for us is if we've got the capacity based on whatever success we're seeing, we would go um, we would go more the route of, hey, let's add more faces or hairstyles for these races. In the case of like the giant example, it would be something where, all right, well, if we were completely happy before, yeah, then we're not going to change it. If we kind of put something in and we're like, oh man, we would have liked to be able to do whatever, and then we didn't get that done for whatever reason, um, then I think that'll be fairly known. But we're not just going to come in and like wholesale replace some shit without having that conversation. And then I also think there's a number of things where we've got a long backlog of NPCs that we want to do. And there are some of those NPCs that we just can't justify prioritizing right now, but we will eventually get to, and then want to backfill into existing content. And so in that case, it wouldn't be a replacement as much as it would be like, oh, hey, look, now there's griffins killing you, right? So that
I
type of
guess
thing.
that's what, yeah, that's kind of what that was my perspective of it, is like, because we've already planned to have like all these different giants or whatever, and it's like, okay, well, it was assumed or talked about where we make these different models for these things. So for like, if there's like we want to kind of stuff in like a certain somebody that's just like a one off that is representative of that future model that we don't have time to prioritize because we're not making major content for that, but you want to kind of make a dude that is of that type, like That would
Yeah.
be in my mind. It's like, okay, well, we'll make like a kind of a stub in based on what we have, and then replace them.
Yeah.
So I just wasn't sure if it was that was kind of the general goings, or but I guess it's like, yeah, like you said, case by case. So that works. So some nice pants, dude.
Yeah. And giants are rad too, because who was just saying something about, in my opinion, less clothing on sand giants in the desert? Well, no. I like the way they're set up right now. You're like, it's hot in the desert. They're acclimated. Ollie wears like a full wizard robe and a baseball hat all the time. Maximo 007 says, meh? What is that about? I don't even know what to apply that to. Model Glum, thank you for the follow. Alien Poo, thank you for the follow.
Giants are cool. How do we feel about red skeleton forms? Dude, we already have that, bro.
Yeah, we've got that. You could lean into some lore stuff like having Frost versus Ice, Frost using older models Ice. Yeah, I mean, you saw that by the time you got to Velius, right? Like, you had all sorts of different cold giants. Sorry you have work meetings, Quatos. Don't get in trouble.
Well, yeah, I think we're gonna have like a skeletal. That it's always one of my favorite things to like when people suggest a thing and we're like, dude, we already have that in game.
Yeah, it's nice. Making Sean
Yeah, I
always
think
gets
we
his
have
attention.
a
No, it said first time chat and it was just meh. And so I was like, what does that mean? I wanna learn how to help you.
but we do have like a lich form that is a skeleton form. I think I'll have to double check. Um, I don't know if we're gonna have more than one of those or not. I think right now maybe the bone color it might be like more of the bleached white, but I can always change that to the bloodied one.
I like these pants in this belt so far on the on a dude like that one of the pirates, and just no
Oh
shirt,
yeah.
just rugged. Then once we get the face set up, um,
Yeah, so what we're doing right now is we're technically in like we're in the player equipment tab. So what we're doing is we're reviewing the armor, and this is how you would assign the lerps to the actual equipment. So if you hit that button right there, the save to DB string, it would actually override whatever information is set up for those fine cotton pants, for example. So you're not actually assigning this to a giant or anything. So the way I would suggest using this kind of thing right now, the way the dressing room is at the moment, is using the player thing, and then just what you can do is if you mouse under, there's like a texture definition to
right here,
DB string. It's
yeah,
like grayed out. You
copy.
can just right click and copy, and then dump that into the actual NPC outfit thing.
Mm.
Um, Otherwise, you'll override the armor.
Corbett said, "What if
So,
scouts and lesser sand giants are standard lesser clothing we've seen on giants because they're underlings? Then more important giants end up with some gear." Yeah, we may wind up doing that. Now that I realize, or now that Zukan's showing me that it works, um, then yeah, we may do some more like that with those guys. But we've got other factions of giants in that little area, like over in Shallow Shoals and stuff, that I want to convey as well. So that's why this is actually really cool, because they were all just going to look like the same giants. So yeah, we can get more variety in for sure. Maximo follow up said pants are good. See, wasn't being negative. Speaking of Velius, what about city factions like Kale and Skyshrine? Tsunami-san, we're going to just within Night Harbor. There are 3 factions similar to Velius that will be. Once you hit a certain point and kind of like exploring and factioning up, you'll realize that there are 3 major factions at play in Night Harbor, and then you can go down that path to the point where there'll be areas that you won't want to go to anymore as you build faction with one of the other factions. Should you choose to go that route. So, all right. So I've grabbed this guy. I'm gonna come over to our DB. I'm gonna find like, let's see. We'll just use this as a placeholder for now. Vaz Raiders. Let's see. Yeah, that whole Night Harbor faction triangle play thing is something that that Nick and I were just talking about, and we need to go in a bit and kind of get that sort of firmed up. But thankfully, the work that Eric's been doing, our editor, has made that a lot easier to track in our documentation. So that's on the list. So Vaz Raider. All right, so I'm gonna use these guys as or maybe even the fisherman as an example to play with, and then I can go back offline and get it. So I know we've got in Confluence like broken out which slots which, or do you know them offhand, or oh no, I
I
clicked that.
don't.
I didn't need to click
I
that.
can pull it up though.
Oopsies. Let me unclick that. I just sorted.
So you're doing legs and belt?
Yeah, but okay. I accidentally clicked the sort button and it made a mess. So Vaz. There we go. We'll go back to our giants. Oh, and while you're here, I may ask you some questions about making a weird spider.
Sure.
All right, so just copy this.
Trying to see what Ginny was replying to.
What? Yeah, what is Chinny replying to? Different elves, different years. Maybe or oh yeah.
Only thing the only thing I don't like about humanoid models are the ears from elves. I don't know why they are 90 degrees rotated. That's how they're concepted.
Yeah, so there are
They were
3
made.
different elves. The elves that look, and I don't know if it was you that had commented on YouTube, but I just responded to this on YouTube actually because somebody had mentioned that very thing. So I don't know if that was you. So the elves all used to look like high elves. The way that you'll see high elves in our game, that's what elves look like. But different events over the course of history led to both the fracturing of different factions within elves, big war between the elves, um, the Altris, the deep elves or dark elves if you prefer that, going and doing their thing, and over time changing, and then the wood elves, the Failwind, them making maybe not the best deal with Fae, and you'll learn about that, and then coming, basically being away, coming back, and looking different. So, and the fact that they look different is actually kind of a problem. Like the difference in the elves is kind of a problem for the high elves as well, right? Like the high elves realize that they are the last of their kind on Ether. So, do the elven races hate each other? The the wood elves don't really hate many people. They're pretty chill. The high elves are pretty intense, and the deep elves are pretty intense. So
And I think it's just the wood elves that have the ears at 90
yeah.
degrees. The high elves have standard pointy upright ones, and the deep elves have pointy upright ones that are elongated as well. So
So and apologies if we've missed other stuff. Can you imagine war breaking out between the three factions in Night Harbor? Would the guards try and stop it, or are the guards part of one of the factions? Different guards, different factions. Yeah, it could definitely get messy. So we're curious. Well, it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. It could turn into a big mess, but it may be a fun mess, which is what we're down for. Maximo, thank you for the follow. Hey Keith. So which slot is it?
So the pants are texture 3, and the belt is texture 9, which you have up there right now.
Cool.
Yeah, you got both of them actually.
So did I is belt what I grabbed? So all right, now that we've got that, I can move this back over. Okay, I grabbed leg, copy, so texture 3. Boom, save. And then belts will go. Oh wait, that's belt slot,
It's
not
called
belt. It's
yeah, it's
waist.
called waist
Yeah.
in there.
I just confused myself. My brain switches off completely when I'm streaming, or at least that's what I keep saying. Okay, and so that sets these guys up with just that look, which is cool.
Okay,
And
so it look. Can you bring up the database again? Because it looks like there's stuff still in there. If you want them to look exactly like that,
oh
it
yeah,
looks
we
like they
gotta
have a.
strip that out.
You got to remove the cape, and with texture 6 is cape, 5 is wrist. You need to probably have something in wrist, or they might look kind of goofy without a
Okay,
bracer.
let's do that then. Would the current bracer work? I forget what the color scheme is on it.
Yeah, it's like a little leather thing. I think it could still work. There's probably some other ones that we
Yeah,
could.
let's look at another one while we're in here.
There's if you search up like fine silk armbands in the bracer slot. What do you think about those? Change the
Little,
color and stuff.
yeah, I was about to say a little too mustard, but like if so, and we can just change the color here, right? Because we're not saving it to the DB.
Yeah, as long as you don't save it, you can do whatever you want here.
What color is those? Are those pants?
It's a Shira.
Silver, orange cloth, and a Shira. So, and oh, we'll just scroll through and look.
Yeah, there's another one that's pops up a bunch.
Oh no, I kind of pictured them
Cool.
having like some leather bracers.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can go back to their their specific ones if you want, because their specific ones are the leather straps or the leather bands, and it would still work, I think, for them. But if you wanted to try anything different, just can scroll through. I think there's a lot of you have a lot of plate ones that are sort of finished.
You may actually, you may be right. I could see going back to the
think the only other leather one we have, um, that's really done right now is I don't know if it works or not. That's the one I was looking at.
Doesn't. What's that belt? What's the belt color? Somebody was just saying something that I wanted to. Maximo said, "Hi, I'm an EQ player since '01. Was just scrolling and saw this and was like, what's that? Oh, tight. Welcome. Yeah, you should because we're messing with some stuff that, I mean, we may eventually show more of the game or whatever. Do my stream deck is being silly. You should check out our Discord, and our website, and learn a bit about the game. We've got a very chill Discord, especially for being like 10,000 people now. The plug fell out of this, huh? Can you hear me now? It was not intended. I banged the thing in a little. You guys, you got to understand like how duct taped together my setup is here. Will there be boxing gloves? I don't know. Would we ever put boxing gloves in? I don't think. Well, maybe we could look at a boxing texture because everybody's got ham fists.
I mean, we have like a hand wraps, like a monk sort of hand wraps type thing, but I don't know if that's what you're looking for right now.
Yeah, there's no music on purpose, Nick, because it was well, I guess we could use in-game music, but it was impossible to get YouTube background music to work, and be able to hear. Alien Poo said, "I'm really excited for EA. I've been in a couple of the playtests, and you guys are doing an awesome job. Looking forward to reliving my EQ era days. Usually watch the VODs first time catching you live. Hey, there's a couple of you in here tonight. Thanks for making it in." All right, so we got this guy. I think the bracer's pretty good. I just want to like switch.
Trying to match the leather colors might be a little tricky right now. One of the things I still need to do is kind of do a pass on leather and make sure they're all sort of around the same range so that we can match stuff.
Okay.
But they're pretty close from what it looks like right now.
Not bad.
Curious how giants look with cape cloak. They look like a big dude with a cape on. I think they have their cape is all the same as everyone else's.
All right. So I'm gonna
Hey Rev
copy
Chumley, how you doing, man?
Copy. Be a big cape. Yeah, if we ever get, if we ever hit the big time, we can go back and what's up, Justin Beard, and like add more stuff than some of the ideas you guys had, like anchor necklaces, and like you didn't have this idea, I did, but you inspired it, like big like ship sail cape and shit like that. Then we could maybe add some stuff like that in, but for now, we'll still maintain our budget. Okay, so let's find this in the DB. What slot is wrist? It was 6, because that's what we're replacing.
It's 5.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got the thing up on the
Cool.
side here.
Okay, then we didn't need this. Zero it out. Oops.
Hey guys, hey chat.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Awesome. Guys, Nick is also here. If you got additional questions while we're doing this, now's a good time to hit them.
I wonder if the sound is any better. I think I increased the bit rate on this channel in Discord, so hopefully that helps.
Cool.
You're
Yeah,
sort of quiet on my end, but maybe I just need to turn you up. I don't know how you are for others.
So another question about these Night Harbor faction wars: would you guys want players to raid opposing parts of the city? Yeah. We'll be populating the city with different targets and stuff, and camps and things like that. And on PvP servers, attack players on their PvP server, I think we're kind of hoping it actually leads to even more of that. So I want to. Can we try something with a spider really quick?
Sure.
Cool. And then we could go in and like check this stuff out. So I'll go back to NPC, I guess. Any zone
No.
or no?
Well, yeah, actually, that works.
Okay.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Yeah. So with the spiders, since they don't have player outfits and stuff, you would have to go to the NPC tab and then pull up a spider and then try and tweak the colors. But I probably would still input them manually.
So I'm looking for.
Are you looking for the tarantula or the spider?
I'm looking for the tarantula actually.
Okay, so try like a spiderling.
I've got some already made that I
Wow,
would
that
do
works
this
too.
too, I think. So cave creeper. Oh, hey buddy. You're smaller. Let me turn off gizmos. There we go. Can we make him? Oh, I had a different idea as well, but we'll try that later, or a different one. So first would be, could I make him dark and see-through?
See-through. That would be a shader thing. So we'd probably have to mess with like some sort of ghost override kind of thing, which wouldn't be a dressing room thing. It would be
We just do it
there's
in.
like that material override
Mm.
section in the database.
Okay.
And what you do is you just punch in like the name of the specific override you want to do. And I think I don't know all the ones we have, but we have like blue ghost and like yellow ghost and stuff like that. But it's gonna load. It's gonna take the texture and the lerps and then load it onto the ghost shader. And that's kind of all it does.
Do we?
So we'd have to make like, if you're looking for a specific thing, like a specific look with a specific shader, we'd have to make a new shader, I think.
I was just wanting to play around with it, and then aside from that, or instead of that, but probably aside from that, remember how we made the Shadow Man? Can we actually? Are we able to bring the Shadow Man up in here? Like, will they work?
Should be able to.
Since we're just a shadow.
It'll probably just load like nothing.
Why is my brain spacing on where this is? I'm looking at it in the dressing room. Okay. Because I've been thinking more about shadow creatures, just doing them the same way we did the Shadow Man. And then one of the things I was thinking about was in this cave, instead of just having normal spiders and normal bats, I was thinking about putting in different light sources in there that will ensure that there's shadows being cast, and then just make them shadow versions. and I was really curious what it looked like. And we can test that out in game just the same way we made the original Shadow Man by clicking the checkbox, making it disappear.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do like shadow spiders, but we need to make a new prefab and a new race, I think, for those because it's like a setting in the on the prefab level.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like the fastest NPC we ever made. That the day that we were like playing around with the light and turned off the model rendering in game, and it was just like casting this crazy shadow. It was in Xavier's room, and it was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. How do we make this happen? And I think it was Patos was like, I think you can just turn it off and then make a new prefab. Like, holy shit, we have a new NPC. Any zone. Come on. Not responding. Shadow. Ah, this light source isn't casting shadows, so you can't see them.
Shadows only. Yeah. So it's going to be hard to see it well, probably, but it works. So I think the light, you set up the lights to work with the giant, so did I. But I got it working.
You got it working?
It's just a really blown out shadow of a spider. I kind of wonder if it would, in this instance, if it would be better to make like a shadow shader and have be able to see them a little bit more than the Shadow Man.
Yeah, that was why I was that's why I was wondering like whether or not we could do the ghost shader type thing and have it look kind of shadowy. But I also think there's something weird about, because you know what, let's do it in context. I'm gonna actually hop in game and do it to an NPC in context, because the thing with the shadow creatures is how dependent they are on the environment to really make them feel right. Corvid said, by the way, fun fact, one of the reasons why Skyrim had such poor performance at launch is one of the devs accidentally applied shadows to all the tiny ants that were found throughout the game. I can imagine that happening. I can absolutely imagine that happening. I remember a story we were told, I didn't see it firsthand, but we were told while people were complaining at lunch one day on EQ2, somebody had modeled the eyelashes for player characters, and it was leading to a lot of like rendering issues or something. So like a black version of Crystal Cavern Spider. Yeah, I mean it's easy enough to picture like the Velks, or because they were also crystalline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean the shadow thing may be more of a pain in the ass as a player than it is cool, but I just keep picturing, like we were talking about the Shadow Men the other day. I just keep picturing these interesting little POIs with light sources that make it so that the shadows are visible. All right, so let's run to.
One thing I was wondering about with our just Shadow Men is if we want to give them any equipment of any sort because the EQ ones always had like those some sort of weapon or something, so you could at least kind of tell where they're at a little bit more. I don't know, because right now we have the cool factor of it's just the shadow, and maybe we just want to leave it there. Is if we gave the actual model something to hold, then I guess it would
Well,
change the effect of it just being the shadow on the ground.
maybe. But what if? Yeah, I mean, what I was about to say basically negates what you were trying to fix, though, right? Because those shadow men, I mean, they're just invisible, and the weapons were everything that conveyed what they were. Whereas these guys are shadow on the ground. What I was about to say was, what if it did both? Which is my favorite answer to a lot of stuff. So what if we made shadow weapons for them and baked them out, and they were no rent, and like the other shadow weapons, and we turned off their visibility, but they were able to be rendered as part of the shadow, and so they're just an invisible weapon.
Yeah, I mean that would add more to the shadow silhouette, but I guess it was
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just like it. I have no stake in it really. I was just like, it depends on what sort of the point of view you're kind of reference or considering them. Like, are they like the Peter Pan shadow where they are the shadow, or
Yeah.
are they like the EQ Shadow Man where they are a body that is invisible, I guess.
I mean, we
And
started from
they actually hold
the Peter Pan point of view was kind of where we started. I don't know that we got to stay
right.
there, but
I think I mean it works. I was just thinking like if we wanted to, yeah, I guess if we wanted to look at it from the EQ point of view and having them hold things was sort of an indication of where they are and stuff, but they both work.
Nick, what do you think about this question? Corbett asked, are you guys planning to do the magic weapon requirement thing like EQ had at the early levels? I haven't seen any hint of it so far, like with the ghouls and stuff like that.
I think it'd be cool to do. It just hasn't been like the highest priority thing. And we've talked about maybe taking that further with the magical rating, where like it's not just a one size fits all. You would basically, as you accrue magic gear, build up kind of like a secret rating. It's not gear score, guys. Don't worry. Uh, but it would basically like, so if there's like a really high level ghoul, you wouldn't be able to hit it until you've accrued like that much magical rating. As opposed to just like the level 5 magic weapon you found, it hits everything.
Makes
But
sense.
that's just an idea. We haven't actually implemented any of this yet. Or yeah.
And sorry, Zukan, I was listening. I didn't mean to switch topics on you right there at the end.
Oh, good.
Quados, the Shadowmen that we have in game they are that right now. They are shadows that are separate from a body. Like that's how it's conveyed.
I think because we have the enchanter pet, which is a shadow man. I think there's a shadow and then there's a shadow man, and I guess maybe there's a difference there or not. I don't know, but the enchanter pet does hold things, so there is the EQ sort of thing there, and then there's the M&M thing on the shadow. So I don't know. Maybe I'm getting confused between which way we're going with stuff, or maybe there's a difference between those two. Or
There's a difference, and we can very easily write out the lore justification. Actually, when I was looking at when we were talking the other night, and I was looking at the like walking through like the penumbra and all of that stuff, and talking about some of the shadow creatures and stuff. It was a reminder that it would be good to maybe take some of those questions. So don't forget that one, and then we can just formalize some of the differences.
Yeah, it might be interesting. Like if we're doing this thing with the spider with like a shader, maybe it would be interesting to add like to separate those two further with more visuals there by like keeping the shadow the shaded dunes shadows how they are, and then maybe give the enchanter pet and the spiders like a some sort of really really transparent shader or something where you can just make out something basic. I don't know.
So I'm trying to remember. Here. It was on the. Trying to remember where we turned it off before.
Click on the. You need to go a level deeper. You're in the prefab. It needs to be on the model, I think.
Okay. Yep, there we go. All right. So then we need to toss in a light as well.
I think the light stone would cast a shadow, would it?
Oh, dude, are you wearing the new armor?
Yeah.
I saw that image. I'd like to get another. I'd like to get a another image like the one that you posted, but with a wood elf as well.
The helmet and the shoulder, the helmet isn't fitted for them yet, so that's why we always start with the human.
Okay.
Until stuff gets approved, which is why it's on a human.
Okay. Light source.
I could try and get one sorted real quick though for the update. Don't know if there's other issues with it or not though.
Just add a light. I think. What point light? We'll call it test. Oh my gosh. Can I not rename you now? Watch I not be able to move it either. Unity's weird sometimes. Because I'm in play mode or whatever. See you, Maximo. Oh my gosh. A star. Turn that off. Alrighty. What's the lore on the Spiky Black Castle? You will eventually learn the lore on the Spiky Black Castle. Does it not move? I was trying to use the shortcut to just pop it over there. I swear I was using the right one, but
Do you attach it to yourself? If you hit the right click on the trans
yeah,
whatever that tab
I'll
is.
just grab it and then we're good.
There you
All right, so it should enable shadows. Let's turn it up. But to point light, how about
You probably want point light, right?
do we want point
We
light or
want it as a
spotlight?
point. A point is like a spherical, and the spot is like a directional. You're just trying to light the whole tunnel.
Yeah, I'm just trying to light this with but with shadows. I'm not seeing any shadows. Oh no, I'm seeing them. It's just not very intense, right?
Oh yeah. Just crank it up way up, I guess. The intensity.
There we go. That will work for this example.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. And Control D. We'll move this over here. All right, so we got, and then maybe we'll do another one. Control D over here. All right, so we got some light sources. Nice. Okay, we'll turn gizmos back off because they're in the way, but now we can see some shadows. That's cool. So then we go to this guy. Cast shadows on.
Yeah, it's that drop down. The cast shadows to shadows only. The drop down under lighting. There's a bit of a
Lighting.
delay on the stream, so I'm probably yelling at you when you're looking at the different thing.
No, I wasn't looking at
Shadows only. There you go. So that one should
There we
just
go.
be shadows now.
Nice. And then we go here with this guy. Not his name tag. Him. You. Okay, thanks, buddy. Then we'll go down to lighting shadows only. And him. Lighting shadows only. For the full effect, I want all of them to. Let me click you, my friend. There we go. Shadows only. Okay. Now let's play with the light source a little bit.
Will the mob target window eventually recognize lowercase letters? That's a good question.
And then we move this over closer to a wall. And then, what movie was that from? They go through the drive-thru and they would always get yelled at by the lady who kept asking. Like a Chinese restaurant. I can't remember. Anyway, not
Doesn't
important.
ring a bell. Hey, Esang, how you doing, man?
Dude, Where's My Car?
You-
Yeah, that's the movie.
I've never seen that one.
One thing I hate about Unity is shadows. Always turn them off on Unity games. Oh no, we do too much with shadows.
That's an interesting thing, though. Like, if we spend all this time making shadow creatures like this, and then people just turn shadows off, like, is that an option?
Then they're just hosed.
Graphics.
I mean, the name tag's still there, right?
Yeah. I don't know if we have that option anyway right now.
Never understand why you work on it so much. It's a performance FPS hit. Shadows? I mean, they're just part of conveying reality, I guess.
What if I don't believe in reality?
I don't believe in reality. Then you are a prime CEO material, my friend.
Yeah.
Nice. Winning. I turn off down shadows on graphically intensive programs, but or in games, but Eminem doesn't really tax my computer in the same way. Quado is just you wait. We'll get there.
Motion blur is the only thing that shouldn't ever exist. If you say something like that, Sean's gonna be like, "Oh, we need a motion blur monster."
Is that
now.
what you think of me? You think of me as someone that's just do you think I'm just what's your design philosophy? Well, just find
Real
things
talk,
people don't
though.
like.
A motion blur kind of like shadowy monster thing.
Oh my
is
god,
actually
that
kinda
would
cool.
be fucking cool. That would be cool. That'd be like
See.
it doesn't count if it's
But
actually
no.
cool. Lens flare beast. Oh god, we can do it.
Oh my god, that I'll draw the line there.
It's just lens flares coming at you. Well,
I think a motion blurry,
blindness.
shadowy monster or something would be cool. Though we could do that with like effects or something, though, where it's not like a actual motion blur.
The Predator. We have will-o-wisps. Yeah, I mean, lens flare beast is just kind of like a version of a will-o-wisp, if in all fairness. Okay. Come here, Dusty Cave Bat. You're being upgraded. Lighting. Shadows only. Each time a will-o-wisp dies, it should explode in a blooming flashbang. Just flare. You get the ringing ears and everything. Okay. All right. let's get a light source over here. I mean, there's a light source attached to these guys as well, right? For like spell effects and stuff, or is that on the spell effect? I forget how we do that.
It's on this. It's on the effect.
Then what's this light?
I don't know what those little lights are though. They're not emitting any light.
Oh. We gotta turn their name tags off if they're not targeted.
You were just trying to kill people.
That
Learn
is
people into a
literally our job. Experience removal is our bread and butter.
This cave needs to be way darker as well. I assume this is
none of
part of the lighting pass stuff that hasn't been done yet. But
like if we time set 7 p.m. Oh geez. now the ambient light's gone and our ridiculous light sources are. Maybe we need to bring it in from 100,000 intensity.
are those being affected? Do those like change at all based on the day, the time?
These light sources?
Do you know? Yeah, do you know? Because those are just like, maybe it's just some other thing. I don't know, but I know the ghost shader kind of, and like the elemental, they sort of, the values change, but depending on the day. So I wasn't sure if these lights, but they're not connected to anything right now. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think the value is being manipulated. Confirmed a loving robot is actually a sadist. That is absolutely not true. I'm just trying to ensure that you get the most value out of your money. All that experience you lose is...
Oh, that's a good idea, Corvid. Stick a single wisp in the cave. The end for lights. Just having wisps in here with being the light source would be cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. That we were just talking about like pairing them. Oof. But yeah, so I mean, the name tags give it away, but Corbett, that is a good idea. Great minds.
I kind of wonder if we could still do a shader on them though, and just have the shader be so subtle that the shadow is actually more prominent than the shader. I don't know.
I mean,
Or we'll just have a shitload of wisps in here or something, just so every bit is like lit.
but I mean yeah. I was thinking there would be some sort of like static sources as well, but I do think that look, I love that you called it the Peter Pan thing.
Yeah.
I love that so much when the like shadows are creeping up the wall. How sick is that? The thing we were talking about the other day was at a camp, it would be a will-o-wisp emitting all the light, and then it would be a couple of shadow creatures. But if you kill the will-o-wisp first, then you can't see the shadow creatures anymore.
Yeah, actually, that is a pretty clever. We don't have a ton of AoE though, so it's not don't run a huge risk of that. But if you do kill it intentionally, or someone else comes in and's like farming light stones, you're like, hey man.
Yeah, can you please leave that guy?
have to. Will the is the kind of end goal intention for like player held torches to cast shadows like that?
I think we have to ask Ali, but I could have sworn that. Well, is it or isn't it like right now? I thought before that there was a performance problem. If they did, I don't think they're casting
Yeah,
shadow.
I
Just
don't think
because
they
you could
do
have
right
like
now.
so many torches in one spot, casting shadows. All right, is it just me? I mean, we could try it. We can try a shader, but there's just something about like there's just
Yeah, I
something
mean,
about
this
that
is.
that feels so cool.
I think I'm down to try this. I need to make a new spider to get this to work, but we can do this and then see how it goes. And I think this works as long as the lighting is sorted.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll talk about like what the light source actually is, what the light sources actually are, and then like how to the what the light source is and sort of what the where the placement is and what the justification is. Looks like the model just didn't load because unlike the Shadow Men guys, you're not primed to expect it. What if we gave them different names? What if it
Shadow
said a
Kid
shadow
spider.
bat? And hi Chip, coming at us with your logic.
My first thought is for the static light sources, you could put little crystals in there, and then dump in like the wisps, and then that would kind of do both.
You could have
We need to add a light source to the wisp prefab that emits a light that casts a shadow as well, though. Because I don't think they do that right now.
we could have some wisps caught up in the webs.
Oh, that's better than crystals.
We could make everything in the game a shadow, so there's no question if it's broken or not.
Shadows and memories.
Miss Part where you explained why you wanted what you wanted on the shader though. So watch. Oh, we were just talking about and if this works and it winds up looking okay, then we'd still probably want a shader. For like imagine Velk's like crystal spiders or whatever, but just kind of like lighter, like more translucent and kind of gray. I think we would wind up using that as well. And I think if we're able to lerp those, like if we're able to have different colored translucent things, I mean, honestly, Zukan, you know the deal. If we're able to do different textures and different, somebody was just saying that it was, I don't know if it was first or somebody on the team, John, I forget who was just saying like, imagine. Oh, it was, I think when we were in Deep Dunes, maybe somebody was talking about the idea of, maybe it was Bill, like the a shader that just kind of looks like particles. I think being able to snap like different shaders and then that kind of convey different materials or different consistencies, like that old the Fae concept. Let me find the. Where was the fairy concept? I don't know if you have it on hand. Monsters. Updates. Trying to remember which update.
Are you talking the shader that's just particles for the Shadowman specifically?
Oh, I'm just saying, like, somebody was suggesting that for a different creature. Maybe this one is it, because I see a Fae. But, like, maybe not. Do you remember the concept with the fairy? And then one of them
fairy that's just glowing?
Yeah. If you guys have not gone back through our old updates, there's so much stuff in these. If you're newer to the stream and you haven't heard this a million times from me, like, our updates are pretty evergreen because it's stuff that's, it's stuff that's either still going in game or things we've talked about and maybe not done, like ogres riding giant pigs, battle boars. There's a lot of cool stuff out there, and then every once in a while, if I'm on stream and I'm not like in a folder somewhere looking for it, I'll just hop in and try to find the concept for you guys. What's up, Jason? I think it's this one. Yeah. Dude, she's so great.
Yeah.
She looks like every girl I wanted to date when I was 15. Give her some Doc Martens. So
it's like the Sailor Moon transformation particle effect thing.
Manic Pixie Nightmare Girl. Yeah. I don't know the. Oh no, now I can picture it actually. Yep. Yeah, so like just even this type of shader and stuff. What? You listen to the Smiths? That's so cool. But yeah, so something along these lines with different colors as well is usable.
Yeah.
I don't have a fairy fetish. You don't have to point me towards topless fairies. It was just that was 15-year-old me. You guys are like 35 years too late. Oh, I'm so glad I'm so glad the internet was so slow when I was a teenager. Cool. All right, so we've played around with this. Potential option as well, using light and shadow layers. I don't know if it would work well. You should be able to have lights that are only used to create the shadows, not affecting the environment. Interesting.
That sounds like a Pattis question. Maybe a Chip question.
It's one of those chipple fix-its.
Yeah. Because you need it to only affect NPCs or like models, basically. Yes. Or maybe just those NPCs specifically, which, yeah, I don't know.
Because then you'd still want to have other lights, because you want environmental lighting so that you can actually see the shadow as well. So in this case, you kind of get both, right? Like, but then I could see where if it was only affecting those NPCs, then you would be able to really kind of tweak it for that independently, and then control. Oh no, that's yeah, no, that still holds up, because there's the fidelity of their shadow versus your ability to see that high fidelity shadow. So I could see how two lights might work. Hold on, Quados is giving us a compliment. Quados said, I really appreciate the discussion elements that go into these streams and y'all's documentation on updates. It just feels like a really cohesive team. Appreciate it. Yeah, we just speaking relative to other projects I've been on, I'm kind of blown away by, you know, and this will sound kind of, I don't want it to sound weird or whatever, but I'm actually really proud of our, I was going to say I'm blown away by our updates, but no, I'm really proud of like the updates and everything that the team kicks out. And yeah, that's the thing, behind the scenes, we're always talking, like it's nonstop, and the discussions are open for everybody. Most people are real good about like only chiming in if they've got something, that they want to contribute, or like a joke or something. But like behind the scenes, all of our Slack is open for everybody on the team, and it's just like everybody has visibility. A lot of times they don't have time to read everything, but everybody has visibility to what's going on, and I think that helps when people hop into huddles. And there's a lot of huddles going on even when people are working. A few months ago, sometime last year, the team set up like the dev and chill. So a lot of the US guys especially are talking to each other and just kind of working. But we're so kind of off and on in terms of when we're available that we've really had to just from day one learn to be pretty async, and just conversations will start and then somebody will disappear to go to work or take care of the kids or do whatever, come back in 4 hours and pick it back up. And so it's been really helpful. And then the updates feel like a surprise every time we do them, because everybody just like starts when folks are providing the bullets and the images and stuff. There's a bunch of it. Otherwise, I got to whine and like go dig it out of Slack or whatever. And then by the end of it though, it's just like blown away by the stuff that we get done in a couple months, or in a month, given that nobody's full time really. So. Yeah. All right. So these were the experiments. Do you want to go see those giants?
Hey, did you probably need a reload zone, right?
Yeah, we do need a reload zone. Are you doing that?
I'm not. I'm trapped in the cave.
Okay, I'll reload zone.
I wasn't sure. I assume they're in this zone, I guess.
Yep. Reloading now. You guys are setting a hell of an example for open development. It'll be very interesting once we go into early access and we continue to try to maintain the same level of transparency, the information that we provide and stuff. Then, yeah, if we pull this off, I would say that personally, I would never want to work in the more traditional way ever again. And it's weird, man. Like, Born to Be Wild, thank you for the follow 30 minutes ago. I keep meaning to say thank you and I forget. The newsletter is still on target for this weekend. We're going to make it happen. Are there plans for cosmetic versions of any items looks that are hard to come by for prestige purposes? You mean like a alternate version of an item that's super rare that's less rare? Kind of hope you guys become more secretive when EA comes out. That way players and fans are still left guessing at a lot of stuff. So we're pretty tight-lipped on a fair amount of lore and stuff. I think as the game continues to get bigger, it'll be harder and harder for us to even show everything. Like there are already places in the game that we've never shown. But yeah. That said, I still think if you follow all the streams or whatever, then you'll see a fair amount. All right, so here are our guys.
So do you want to add hair and stuff to those guys? Beards? So you already know how to do that stuff though.
Yeah.
Just copy paste from.
I was like, so with the giants, I've gone ahead and started giving them different appearances because I knew that worked. I didn't know we had the flexibility that we had on the other stuff. So you'll see some differentiation with some of these guys already. If we can do capes, then this guy definitely needs a cape. Oh wait, he's already got a cape thing. No, but it was like a big cape.
Oh yeah, you can put on any cape.
Yeah, so these guys have some different stuff going on. What's up, ZBrushed? Hey, Zach. All right, let's go look at our other guys again.
I put on my speed gem and I rocketed out of the tunnel and fell to my death. So.
Oh yeah, you gotta watch that.
I gotta watch that first step.
Those first streams, like the streams back before, I think we had, or maybe we had it. I just always forgot to put it on, like Immortal or what should we call it? Invulnerability is dying all the time. But yeah, so I definitely get how we can set up some of those other guys now.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a wonky thing, because I don't know what's up with the dressing room. I think that NPC panel, maybe we're using it wrong. I think maybe it was designed to be used like in game, like if you just targeted that guy and opened the panel, maybe it would work. But the way we did it is how I generally do it though.
I thought it used to save. I think something broke during one of our various updates, or you know what I mean? Like it broke sometime last year, but I used to be able to go in and get the NPC and then save it out and save it to his record, and he would be updated then in the database.
Yeah, I think it did work on some level before. There was also a case where, like, if you had information stored and then you selected somebody, it would automatically change their stuff. It hasn't been like stable enough for me to trust using it. So I just prefer using the player equipment panel and copying stuff manually because it's more reliable.
These outfits, are they tintable? I thought they only came in one color. They are tintable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you can put that stuff on players too.
No shit. These are fantastic.
Like we have
like
I fitted all the players with the giant turban, so that the turban can be worn by players.
What's the state of the orcs wearing stuff?
So they can wear stuff too. However, they have not been updated. Like the UVs haven't been updated properly yet. So while they can wear stuff, it doesn't sit on their body correctly.
Okay.
So the Ashira and the orcs. You remember when I did the big cape update or refactor on everybody? I did it on everybody except for orcs and Ashira. So they're the ones that I still need to fix.
Okay.
But it was like I finished all the players and I was like, that's probably good enough for now. Because we weren't really doing a lot of stuff with NPC outfits at that point. But they can wear stuff. I'll since we're starting to talk about orcs more, I'll have to get them sorted.
Okay. Because I was looking at like I thought I had tried putting like a robe on a caster, and it didn't appear. So
It should work.
mm.
If you're doing it the way you're doing giants, maybe it's just like the tool.
Have we seen a giant in a robe? No, we haven't seen that.
So the one thing with giants and robes, we never modeled their skirt geometry to go all the way down to their ankles like everybody else. So they can wear robes. It will show up for all the geometry that is available, but it will they will never have robes that go like below their knees. Unless we go in and edit the thing.
Yeah, update them.
Yeah, which we could do. I don't know if there's anything. I'd have to double check. I don't know if there's anything being used in that space or not. I don't know, Zach, if you remember, if we're using the lower half of the skirt UV section for anything currently on the giants.
Zach, why is your internet out until 5 p.m. also? I guess at least it's a known thing. Are you just hanging out on your phone? Light breeze blue, time to switch service to the internet. Dude, you guys laugh, but I've told a story 100 times of like when I was trying to play EverQuest back in Alabama at the skate shop, I kept getting really bad latency. I'd just get like red bars and disconnect, and called the ISP and they couldn't figure it out. Eventually had the phone people come out, and it was squirrels running on the phone line. Anytime squirrels were running on the phone line, I would lose connectivity. Hey, Dark Inside. Should Shallow Shoals and Keeper's Bite be places we can enter next time we test? Corvid asked. Yeah. And Shallow Shoals will be in a really good state by the next playtest. And should have a fair amount of base population in it. And then Keeper's Bite will be available. It'll be unfinished, and we'll make a note of that. The Wood Elf Zone, Evershade will be available as well, but you won't be starting there just because it'll be suboptimal. We won't have everything in there that we'd like to have in there for you. But you can run up to it and check it out. You want your tinfoil hat for the gnome, even model and texture it if you have to. Maybe we can make that a stretch goal. We'll do subscription goals. But yeah, all right, so that covered those guys, and it's and I see the error of my ways with regards to the giants, so that'll be cool. We can get some giants going. Now the thing with the giants is and this winds up being kind of the hard part, and I don't know, Zukan, you probably feel this. It's we want them to maintain a certain like iconic look, so we we'll have to for each group of giants make sure that we're kind of distinguishing them and having them be consistency within the looks, because it's like it's one thing to go to the bins and run around the bins and you've got the 3 different gangs that run stuff there and you've just got a vast variety of NPC looks. Well, because I mean it's all player character models and they're all conveying different things, whether it's a feisty fishwife or a drunken cleric or whatever. But like these guys, I think the benefit from some consistency, like at least some notable, obvious themes, and then we'll have to sit down and kind of figure that out. And we've got a few different giants going on in this area.
I think
so-
that sort of philosophy is kind of why I was a little hesitant to like make NPCs available for this kind of thing because like maybe I'm a little old school and like I like having like just the orc model be the orc model for everybody.
Mm.
And then maybe you would make like an orc oracle offshoot and
Right.
then just stick that on all the casters and that sort of thing. Because then it's like, okay, the orc is the orc. You can see it, you can identify it by silhouette and by colors and all that shit. And that's how it is. But it's also cool to like be able to slap on different things. But that is still a thing that is, I think a good thing to keep in mind is those sorts of themes. And maybe it's just a matter of making more. Maybe what we can do is just make more like giant outfits and stuff. Like
Right.
we may make like a giant fisherman, like an outfit that is specifically giant fisherman, and then
Right.
slap it on all those guys. Because that is actually probably lower, like less work than making a whole new model for like a giant fisherman. So
Yeah. I think for the most part I agree. It's just, and also just time constraints even in making the different setups like we, with the fishermen or whatever. We're not gonna, or at least I'm not gonna spend a ton of time like making every different giant. I went through and basically there's different beard, mustache, right? Like of the pieces that we have for these giants, I went ahead and kind of um, looked at the various classes and level ranges and started to distinguish them using that. But some of it's subtle, right? Like, but for the most part, they should all feel roughly the same. Like these giants feel like these giants. Um,
right.
And even something like going in and like then also changing the color of all their robes and you know what I mean, like all the to be individualized, I think is too much, and they start to lose a bit of the iconic vibe unless the only time we're using this setup is for them, and then the different colors are uh distinction within that setup. Okay, but then if we start to say, like if we were to say the only outfit we're ever going to have for giants, assuming we couldn't do this other stuff, was these robes, and we wanted to do a forest giant, or something that's out at sea or whatever, then you would do like, or at least I would do the obvious, like, all right, maybe these guys they're wearing tan and the fire giants are wearing red, and the forest giants are wearing green. But fortunately, it seems like we'll be able to get um, additional distinct appearances for those other ones like fire giants, upcoming and stuff. So I think I mostly agree, and I would hate to like slap player armor and player outfits on everything because then they really don't feel, you know what I mean? Like in this case, I think it works, right? I would say the bracer, um, I'd probably maybe go back to the bracer now that I look at these and just like give it a different color, right? So that it kind of matches more. Or even that's not bad. But like but yeah, I don't want it to get too like out of hand either. And then with some of it, it'll be a thing where it's like if you say, hey, we're actually able to make a unique outfit and that fits in with everything else, then cool. It's just I know how precious your time is. Like, the three of you working on characters is, you've got a big pile in front of you and your critical path, like your entire list of NPCs. It's critical because there's so much stuff that we know that we want to do to get to 1.0 that everything we add in is slowing down that progress. Like, and I think the community appreciates that as well. If we were to say, hey, we're not coming in and doing like 50 unique outfits for the same group of giants or whatever, because we're able to get 2 unique giant types in there, like if we had the fire giants and these guys, and we do some distinction here, but we're also not delaying getting deep elves and deep gnomes and trolls and all the other shit in, along with all the creatures that we need for various biomes, right? Because one of the things that happens, I'm explaining this more community than to you guys know this, but like every time we bring a biome online, so it's like, oh, we want to start going into the deep. Well, we want to have unique NPCs that are appearing in the biomes as well, so that like it's not all just the same NPCs you've been seeing over and over again. So we do a lot of, we've got a lot of prioritization going on.
Yeah. I think these fishermen fit in. It's almost like there's like a different class, like a social structure here.
Yeah.
Like the fishermen are the poor guys, and these dudes are like the wealthy guys. It's raiders. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you could do, if you really wanted to make them feel more tied in, maybe try and find a way to get some red into the pants, or maybe give them the same bracers or something. But I think it also works well. But yeah, just generally speaking, finding a good balance and not going too far out of things. I think if you left these guys as they are, I think it works well.
Cool. Then I may
There's also
modify these
skin.
guys.
There's also they have skin tones. If you wanted to add another layer to stuff, like, although that's depending on what we do with them in terms of adding different giants and things. Maybe because right now I think they have a couple different like human skin tones, so you could get like a couple different variants there. But then if maybe that's a bad idea actually, if we wanted to keep that consistency with other giants, like if we wanted to have like just some vague variants in like fire giant and ice giant and all that shit, maybe that'd be too much.
I would say I'm gonna keep the skin tones on these guys. We've got some giants in Shallow Shoals that will probably make a little bit more distinct, so that they are distinct from these guys, so that these guys kind of fit together. Cord said a lot of undead in the game. Yeah, I mean that's just, there'll be a lot of undead and bats and spiders, stuff like that. Because and that goes back to the earlier conversation of there'll be over time, if we've got more customization, more variety, more NPCs, and we can go back and update or backfill certain areas. But we've got the stuff that we've got, and then we'll kind of look at how we're distributing and seeing if we're overusing it in favor of there being potentially other things that we could use. But just kind of is what it is. Yeah, and some of the undead will have armor on them and stuff. No, like you'll see that like undead wear their depending on the slots, they don't have every slot, but they wear some of the drops. And then we've got some undead models that are just set up like this, where they actually look like they're distinct, right? They always have shoulders, or they always have helmets, or like a hood. There's a lich that you run into that's got a distinct look. Will the giants drop a whole lot of coins, or are they not as financially off as hill giants? We'll have to see as we're balancing that out. It's a fair question. Factioning up with orcs going to be impossible? Probably. Orcs are just really, really evil. Even the evil races and gods in our game aren't very comfortable with orcs and who they ultimately serve. There's one other comment. Oh, where do those giants have to trek all the way through Keeper's Bite to chop down trees to build this stuff? Nope. That's what all the raiders are for. They like ships that come through here or come through shallow shoals have the misfortune at times to become giant wood.
Giant wood.
Giant wood. I was thinking it. I'm glad you said it. Yeah, see. Pineapple. Sorry, Lasava. Pineapple indeed. Yeah, but I'm glad we went through that. Let me more you guys are asking about it. So kind of in preparation for how about do I put an S there? Cool. For the playtest, assuming I zone. So preparation for a future playtest, looking at kind of stuff that'll be done. The reality is Keeper's Bite is actually on the schedule for, it's going to take a little while. So, but we'll allow you to go into that zone. So just expect it to be kind of a work in progress. And no telling where we'll be with Evershade and Fail and Draw by that time, but it will still be a work in progress. So if you guys want to go up there and explore them, that's cool. We may have the boat working by then. That's a good, let me add that note as well. Because it'd be fun to take the boat ride, right? All the way up the coast. So let me add that one. And I don't know if it's just a time thing or because the zone, maybe it's because the zone's not up, and then when I ping it the second time, it's up by then. Yeah, we will try to preserve some of the old boat bugs, like falling off when it zones. And yeah, I'm excited to get this. I'm excited to get the update out this weekend. Sorry, I'm there's so much to read. There's like a 26 reply thread on how should ogres dance that immediately caught my attention. Already into February? Where's the time go? Dude, tell me about it. Ogres should do the Macarena. So none of our dances can be actual real world dances. Now they can take bits from it. They can be inspired by, I guess, to some degree, but TikTok dances? TikTok dances, yeah. Like I said earlier,
What
I'm
about
just,
the floss? Is that still cool?
is that still cool? God. Flossing.
No, I see them as like doing the crab dance. Is that it's that one song with the crabs.
It's like there's an asset in here that is, this happens when there's a jacked asset. We've seen this in the past. Have to get with Bjorn. Some asset that was added is messing up the crab rave.
Yeah, crab rave. That's
I
the
thought
one.
you meant like the crab core hardcore looking thing.
I'm not familiar with that.
See if I can find it in a way that won't. Crabcore is an internet meme that originated in 2007, mocking metalcore guitarists who squat low with their legs spread in a crab-like stance while performing. It has also been mimicked by a variety of groups. Crabcore. All right. Can't pronounce that place. Abbey of something? Abbey of Telustra? Right. Zone. Shallow Shoals. Telustra. A T, not a P. I, not a Y. And I think we're good. Yeah, so we'll have some giants in this zone as well. and we'll have a spoiler. Though, if you don't want a spoiler, earmuffs real quick. I'll give you a second to. I know there's a delay, so just little earmuffs real quick. I'll wave my hand when you can take them off. Wanted to have a couple few giant pirates here as well. Giants that have kind of they've taken up a life of piratry. So they hang out here. So they may have a different look. And then we'll have the giants that we had talked about, Zukan. The refugees.
Gotcha.
And they'll be somewhere else. Well, we may work them in. May work them in here actually because yeah, actually I think they would wind up being here. Be a great place to have those shark people goblin concepted. Yeah, eventually one of these days it's just kind of more back to the whole prioritization thing. But that's the kind of thing where one of these days when we have, you know, more sea stuff, for example, then we could come back in and kind of look at what's in here, and there's probably going to be some spaces that aren't used or some things that we could, you know, revamp slightly and then utilize some of those models. So and then yeah, so this week we're gonna get with the team. We're gonna bounce some stuff off of them tomorrow in terms of timeline wise, looking at next playtest. So we want to bounce a plan off the team, get their feedback and input, and then have that figured out by the update. And so, spoiler, we'll give you some information on the next playtest as part of the update. Well, we can commit to that. I think that's fine. We talked about it. It seems because what, you know, the worst that'll happen is we'll give you a date for the next playtest, and then if something bad happens, we'll just tell you something bad happened and what and how we're gonna fix it, and then what the new date is. Maddie, thanks for the follow. And so we'll get that out, but naturally we want to run that through the team, talk about the plan, stuff that we want to get done by then, all of that, and we'll do that tomorrow my time. But yeah. Yeah, so that's that. So you'll get some info, then you'll know. Then you can then you guys can go from soon to actually having a date. That'll be fun. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of at a point on the stream right now where I'm like, all right, we did those things we talked about. I want to go to sleep, wake up tomorrow, work on a couple of those NPCs, figure out whether or not we're gonna do the spider bat thing. Maybe. But
If you want to do that for the bats as well, then I mean, in order to do the thing, like I said, I need to make a new race, a new prefab, I think.
Okay.
So that means I need to go and make like a new bat and a new spider, new tarantula, and we need to make new races for those. And since Nick is here, I think still maybe could poke him about getting those set up, and also the other things, the other races in the database.
For shadows?
Yeah, we might need a shadow bat and a shadow tarantula. And then I'm trying to get the guy I messaged you about sorted out.
The other guy that you messaged me about, I gotta check that.
I don't know how top secret it is, but it's the
Oh, yeah. It's kind of top secret.
okay.
It's like a semi-secret.
A good thing I erred on the side of secrecy.
Good thing I don't know anything about it. I would have already blabbed. Or do I know about it? Was it the thing I was referring to
Yeah,
as well?
I mean, it's a thing you know about. I'm just it's the next dude trying to get plugged in.
Okay. All right. Oh yeah, sorry if you had your ears covered. Everything we've said was secret up until now. I didn't forget about you. Sorry if you had earmuffs on. Don't tell them about the playtest information. Let's see there's no team meeting, Nicodemus. We don't really do team meetings because it's almost impossible to line them up. It's just we'll discuss it in the planning channel. And yeah. So what I'll probably do then is I'll wrap up here for tonight. That way we can just go into well, yeah. We'll wrap up here tonight. That way I can do maybe some work stuff before bed, and then Friday we'll do some. I don't know what we'll do Friday, to be honest. I don't know if it'll be work, if we'll play some or what, but we'll do something on Friday, and then the weekend will be here, and the update will come out this weekend. So, but it's like it's 10:15 for me in the PM, so it's you know. Corbett asks, Nick, fresh characters for next test, you think?
I don't think so. No, you'll have your older characters, the most recent set.
So cool, and that'll allow you guys to see a little bit more as well. That way, you're not starting from scratch again. But yeah, I don't know. Unless you guys, Nick, Zukan, unless you guys have something, I think I'm gonna wrap up here, and then
I think I ain't got nothing.
XV, that's might be possible. Yeah, maybe PvP server. We'll see.
cool. All right, then. I'm going to say good night to folks. Those of you that, if you're like new here, you stumbled in, a few of you did, be sure to check out our website and join our Discord for sure. If you're not going to join the Discord, join the mailing list, and we'll send out information to both Discord, mailing list, and update once the information's available. So who all said good night so far so I can catch up? See you, Chaz Solo. Quatos, you're very welcome. I'm glad you're here. Always good to see you, Rev Chumley. See you, Migs. Morak. Gegin. See you, Bill. Talet. Dan Leon, I'm glad you had a chance to come in and listen as well. Later, Corvid, Chinny D. See you, John, Jason, Lisava. I apologize, Lisava, for Zukan's inappropriate comments that required a pineapple. We'll talk to him about it offline. Tsunami-san, see you. Doggeroni. Later, Isan. See, Idar. I messed it up. True Swift. Darius. U-Shoes. You don't need to apologize for Zukan. He knows what he did. We all know what he did. Inappropriate wood comments. It's always him. Later, Dark Inside. Oh, I saw what you said earlier, Dark Inside, and I recorded it, but I didn't respond to it. The girl that you sent flowers to, you know what? There are more fish in the sea for you to send flowers to, buddy. Don't worry about it. See you, Justin Beard. Better Kuzo. All right. I think that's pretty much everybody. Byro.
See ya, chat.
See you, chat. See you guys on Friday. Be sure to check out the other streams. All right. Bye, guys.